What's up, everyone? It's Wacko. Welcome you to week 2 of SSSDL. This week we're up against Jaden, who has a really scary team, actually. Do I still have him on the prep doc? Yes. So he has Mega Scissor, Gouging Fire, Landorus, Empoleon, and you can't really see it because I'm just looking at it. Um, Greninja, Thundurus, Uxie, Okidogi, Floette, Eternal, and um, Terra, or not Terra Ursaring, Z Ursaring. On my side, we end up bringing Tornty, Samurott Round Tui, Zera Aura Slowking, Sil Valley, and Tauros. So actually, on my side, I end up bringing Boots Torn with Bleak Wind, Heat Wave, Knockoff, and Defog. I was really scared of Scissor coming. However, I wasn't expecting Empoleon, so I didn't really run anything that beat Empoleon. Um, but I had Defog, but against Empoleon and even like Thundurus, like I was a little bit scared of running. I was a little bit scared of having to click Defog, so I probably should have ran like something else, like U-turn or just like another move that hit Empoleon. So a little bit of a throw there, but um, having Defog would have potentially been nice just in case. Our Samurai round 2 is going to be Choice Scarf with Aqua Cutter, Ceaseless Edge, Flip Turn, and Aqua Jet. Reason why I'm both Jet and Scarf is because in the case he's like Rock Polished Lando, which he typically likes to run. Um, or if I need like some little chip on like Battle Bond Greninja, I thought he would bring. He actually ended up bringing um, most of the mons I expected him to bring. He brought the Floette, Uxie, Gouge, Thundy, and Lando. I was mostly expecting him to actually bring like Scissor over Empoleon. I didn't think Empoleon had a good matchup defensively because all of my mons get so much to like hit it with. Even like Slowking can just come in like teleport out. Um, but I think there's a really good reason for him to actually bring it here, and that's because half of what I brought really can't touch it too well, so that's a thing. I thought maybe Grin could come, but I don't think he likes Greninja, so I was kind of thinking like, oh, he might not bring it because I have Zera Aura, Zera outspeeds it. Unless he wants to be Battle Bond. I think if he brought Zera, or if he brought Gren, it would have been Battle Bond. Um, it's possible like it potentially doesn't kill like Samurott or like Zera anyways, so like maybe he didn't bring it for that reason. And he opted to bring his other mons because they're all just a lot better. And lastly, he didn't bring Okidogi. I expected maybe Okidogi could come as like a pivot in on like Tauros or Zera. Tauros does get like Zen Headbutt, but I wasn't sure if I could really slot it. So yeah. Oh, actually going into our Zera set because I'm like all over the fucking place. I end up bringing Plasma Fist, Blaze Kick, Knockoff, Toxic. So basically, I'm just there to hit everything. If he wants to go into Gouge, I can click Toxic and kind of whittle it down slowly, and then bring in Tauros. Slowking is kind of mixed defensive for Floette and Landorus. I'm eject button because I'm expecting Floette to be like Light of Ruin specs. I always take a Light of Ruin and I can switch in, eat the hit, and then pivot out into like Silvally or Samurott because Samurott can always actually kill with Aqua Cutter after the Light of Ruin chip. Um, so I have that. Silvally is my next mon. I end up having multi-attack, Psychic Things, Heat Wave, and Toxic. It's basically just kind of there to like eat a hit from something and then maybe get off a hit or just be sacked. And I end up bringing Water so that, which you can't really see. Tauros is going to be Intimidate, which is kind of scary to bring in this matchup because I expected Clear Amulet Gouge, I expected Defiant Thundy, and I expected competitive Empoleon, but I ran Intimidate just in case he wasn't Clear Amulet Gouge and I could wall it a lot easier. But I have Flare Blitz, Raging Bull, Earthquake, and Bulk Up. I was expecting Gouge to be like DD, so I end up running Mirror Herb on the set, which is why I ran Intimidate over like Cudchew or Anger Point, because I didn't really have a reason to run Anger Point, I felt. So yeah, that is going to be my paste. And getting into the battle, I wasn't sure who he'd lead with, but I was pretty certain maybe he'd lead Yuxi. So I was kind of leading Zera to get off a Toxic, but I was also a little bit scared of just potential like off rip Lando lead. So what I do here is I lead Samurott round 2e. He leads Yuxi and I flip turn out. Basically what this flip turn shows me is that he's like max HP potentially, but not like very defensive. So I get it off a flip turn. I go into Slowking actually, as he ping splits. I actually don't really know why I went Slowking there. I think I could have went Zera, but I was, in case he wanted to like U-turn out on Zera, and go into like Landorus, then I had more freedom because I have eject button. So he's gonna get up rocks as I get off a Toxic. So yeah, I do have Toxic on like half of my team because I was just very scared of like setup Gouge, and then like Yuxi was hard to kill. Setup on these two Mons was pretty difficult. So yeah, he's gonna U-turn, he's gonna activate my eject button. I'm gonna bring in Torn. He's gonna see that I'm Boots, which will kind of matter for later. He's gonna stay in and U-turn off the Citrus, or as I knock off the Citrus. I'm gonna go hard Zera on this Thunderous as he bulks up. And I'm going to get off a Toxic. I thought maybe in the long run that a Toxic would work, although I probably could have just clicked Plasma Fist like twice. I'm going to knock off his Flying Gem as he clicks Acro, which is good. If I didn't knock off that Flying Gem, like this Acro would have brought me down to like 10%, which is fucking insane. Because, yeah, Thunderous is pretty fucking scary. Acro just knocks out the Silvally, which I guess makes sense. I was kind of a bulky-ish Silvally, but I figured because it did 60% to Zera that it would probably end up being that way. I'm going to bring back in Zera and Plasma Fist. I don't get the crit, which is kind of what I had to go for. I potentially also could have went Samurott and clicked Aqua Cutter. Aqua Cutter might have KO'd, but I felt like I needed Samurott more in this matchup for what's left, so I end up just sacking Zera here. Death by Glamour is going to fall down. But that was Zera's like on the field debut, because I brought it in the last game and it just didn't touch the field. Slowking's going to come out. He brings out Floette. I was a little bit scared of Floette, so yeah, I end up staying in. He clicks Moonblast, which really sucks for me. I was expecting him to be like Spec Slide of Ruin, but the fact that he's just Moonblast was actually like really bad for me. I could have lived Spec Slide of Ruin and he would have been at like 20% at the end of that turn. But yeah, he's gonna Moonblast, and like in that case, I would have been able to actually bring in Samurott and just start spamming Sleeceless, but because he's Moonblast, I actually have to click Aqua Cutter here. He does let Floette die, which I think was kind of a fair deal. The rest of my team outsped it anyways, but I think he could have potentially stayed in and went for Moonblast on the or I'm sorry, he could have swapped into like Empoleon, because I feel like Aqua Cutter is like my only play. But considering he's like so far ahead right now, I don't think he made like a wrong play here. Now he's gonna go into Empoleon. I bring out Torn as he Scalds. I really did not have a Scald switch in at this point. Like either Tauros comes in and dies, or Samurott round 2e gets burned. I'm gonna knock off his Chople Berry, which is good to know. As he Scalds, I'm going to Heat Wave, which doesn't really do too much damage, and he flip turns out for some reason. I don't know why he did this, because he could have just stayed in and killed me, and then I would have been forced to spam Aqua Cutter on Lando, and Empoleon's still kind of healthy. So, yeah, I'm going to get off a huge Bleak Wind Storm. I do get a speed drop, but he does Rock Pulse, which kind of makes up for it. He's going to Sludge Wave and kill me. I'm going to bring in Samurott now, because I think the Aqua Jet is very, like, it's very telegraphed. So I think what I have to do here is, because if I Aqua Jet and he goes into Empoleon, I lose the battle. or even if he just like sacks Yuxi, I just lose the battle. So what I do here actually is I click Ceaseless Edge because I know 2 Ceaseless Edges will kill Empoleon. It'll kill Landorus, it'll kill Yuxi, so Gouge would have been the only switch in. I do find out here that he's like very defensive Gouge for Zera, and I think Tauros and Mega Mawile. I'm assuming he was probably like Morning. He might have been like Morning Sun, Burning Bulwark. I'm gonna go off a Ceaseless Edge, Spike. I'm gonna bring in Tauros as he does end up being Clear Amulet, which I kind of expected. Dragon Claw is gonna bring me down to 55%. EQ is gonna crit, which is kind of unfortunate because it would have crit mattered there. He's gonna Dragon Claw again as I'm able to outspeed and get off an EQ, which I don't think really matter because I think at this point the only thing that matters is if I can get back into Samurott. So because he didn't go Empoleon, or because he didn't stand with Landorus, he's in a really bad spot now. He does still have 3 Mons, and he is going to be able to kill my Tauros, so now it's just Samurott versus the world. So basically here, if Samurott misses a Ceaseless Edge, I'm just going to lose. I do get the crit on Landorus, which doesn't matter, but I kind of wish I preserved that crit for Empoleon, because this is a bit scary. He could have lived, I believe, but because I think I get a roll, he's going to end up dying. Yuxi's going to go down to Ceaseless Edge because I don't miss. And Samurott's going to pick up another 4 KOs, which is insane. This game was pretty wild. Like, just going back, like, what, like 5 turns? This is god-awful for me. Like, Samurott's in, can't really kill the Gouge. Gouge could be running, like, EQ to hit Tauros. I mean, I suppose, like, these 3 are chipped. But it was like a really bad position for me. If he stayed in with Landorus and just clicked Earth Power on my Ceaseless, I would have just lost the battle. But I felt like going for the win here was my best play. Now Jaden's a really good battler, but I felt like he was ahead, and I thought maybe he would make this play and go into Gouge here because similarly, in our finals game in SDS, he, I think, preserved his piece as Glade was setting up. And I was like, I had a feeling he could do a similar play. Because I think he wanted to maybe come back in later and get another kill with Lando. So my play was to go for the throw, which is kind of what he did here, as he goes into Gouge, and then the game plays out the way it did. I don't know if Empoleon... I think it was a roll for me to kill that thing. But, I mean, regardless, I think if Samurott just stayed and clicked Ceaseless Edge, Empoleon couldn't really do much other than Roost spam, and then he's risking me getting another crit. And at some point, like, he runs out of Roost, and, like, the second that he clicks, like, Scald, or like a different button and doesn't get the burn, like, he just loses. So yeah, it was quite a game, and I feel bad for Jaden that, like, I think he played a lot better. I think he prepped a lot better. Clear Aim Out Gouge was a really good bring. The Thunderous being bulk up Acro was a really good bring. Lando being like Polish, obviously, like, usually a good bring. I don't know what his last move was, if he was like Rock Slide or something. This being Moonblast and not Light of Ruin was a huge bring for him, because I only prepped for like Light of Ruin. I was like, oh, he'll just chip himself down. But now bringing Light of Ruin into like 3 regen mons, like, that just kind of makes sense, you know? I did almost run like Citrus on Slowking, which I think would have potentially saved me. It might have also saved me if I ran like Teleport instead of Slack Off. But you can't prep for everything. His team was super hard to prep for, especially because he has Lando and Mega Scissor, which meant that I needed to run like ice coverage or water and fire coverage on like everything I possibly could. It was just kind of difficult to build for that, but I think he built very well. Um, I understand why he switched out with Floette, or why he sacked Floette and switched out with Lando. Um, but I think at that point, I it would have been safe for him to think that I was just going for like differential, because my mindset usually tells me like, oh, I lost. Like I think, what turn was it? What turn was it? It was the turn I sacked Silvally, I think. Yeah, it was the turn I sacked Silvally. Um, the turn I sacked Silvally, I think I lost. I thought I lost the game there. Or even that, I think after I sacked Zera Aura is when I like potentially just lost the game, because he has so much shit. I have no Moonblast switch in here. Like something is dying, other than like Slowking can get off some chip. Yeah, it was a really bad situation for me. But we pulled it out. I saw my win con. Obviously, Samurai is just going to be win con. We do have 7 kills with Samurai currently, and I wasn't expecting that. I think 7 KOs was like almost the over-under for how many kills Mawile was supposed to get. Mawile only has 1 kill for now, but hopefully in the future I can bring it to a game and get it set up to sweep. Here was kind of hard because he had Mega Scissor and he had Gouging Fire, and Gouging Fire having Burning Bulwark is just like a very bullshit thing for Mawile to have to deal with, so I didn't even bother bringing it. But yeah, GG's to Jaden. I don't know who I'm facing next week, but I do think I have one of my harder matchups out of the way, which is very nice. And this was still, I think, a good game. He played his heart out in the beginning, I played my heart out at the end, and it just kind of ended up being a very close game. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week.